The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again, folks, and so happy to have you along.
You're not happy. You're never happy.
Zing went the strings of my heart.
You're happy?
Yeah, sure.
Look at you.
Well, I'm a little disappointed because I can be happy, but I can be disappointed. Well, Steve, you always hurt the ones you love.
Where's this going? Here we go.
And, I ran into a mutual friend of ours who said, yeah, Tom, we were just talking about you, Steve and I. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, he was on my show. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah, he was cheating on me. Oh. You were on Perry Now's show.
It's true.
And you never even said anything to me.
Wow, it's true. It's true.
That's something.
Perry said, hey, you want to chat? And I said, sure. And I didn't think I needed to get permission from you, Tom.
Wow. How would you feel if I started doing the home repair workshop?
I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
I'll call them now.
You would not. You'd be like, what's Tom doing without me? Oh, golly, I felt so hurt.
Good.
But
in that case, great.
But it's Perry, and I'm sure you had fun with it.
I did. Gotta love Perry. Gotta love Perry.
Well, I said, Steve does love to golf, and if there's a chance you could talk golf, that would be
and we did.
Probably fun.
And we did.
Good. Well, talk about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. That's another fun thing.
Update your will, update your trust.
Yeah.
370-9977. It didn't rhyme. I thought maybe it would.
No.
SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com. John and the team over there. Holy smokes. A lot of people are doing it. They just did some workshops. If you haven't done it, do it. You've heard about it, and you've been putting it off, and they know what they're doing. Protect your home and life savings, 370-9977, SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com. Tom?
Very good. See, you're getting better at that. Perry's going to watch you out all the time, to do all the live
from
reads.
The best.
Sure. Okay, it's our pleasure to bring on Erin Bates. She's the Deputy Director of McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center. How are you there, Erin?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. No relation to Kathy Bates, huh?
No.
Okay. Be nice if
that laugh, maybe. I don't know.
It would be kind of cool, I think, but no relation.
So, Erin, are you a Syracuse native? Were you from around here? You grew up here? Okay.
Born and raised.
Oh, what part of town?
Liverpool.
Okay. So you went to Liverpool High School?
I did.
All right.
Yeah.
And then where did you go? Did you go to college?
I did. I went to Lemoyne.
Very nice.
Smile when you say that.
I'm still paying off student loans.
Oh, golly. Isn't that
I
something?
love it. It was great. But
when did you get out of there?
2010.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Did you participate in Dolphy Day?
Of course I did.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't think you'd be hard-pressed to find a dolphin that didn't participate in that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so what brought you over to the McMahon Ryan organization?
So when I graduated college, I started working in the social worky type field. Okay. I started out with families that were in need of some early literacy skills for their children, doing home visits, things like that, working with teen parents. From there, I went on to home finding for a foster care agency. And then a former coworker of mine reached out to me when McMahon Ryan had a spot open for an advocate for a specialized program dealing with anti-trafficking.
Oh, wow.
And so they thought I would be a good fit and reached out to me about that. And it seemed like something I had some interest in. So I went, and I have been there ever since.
How long ago was that?
2013. So I've been there for 10 years.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
I found my niche.
Yeah. Is it, when somebody gets into your line of work, is it more heartfelt than cerebral? Is it,
It has to be.
Yeah.
100%. If you don't have the passion for it, I think you'll tend to see a little bit of burnout with it. We deal with really serious things on a day-to-day basis, so it can be really overwhelming sometimes.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have student loans.
that you have to worry about.
Sorry.
It's a big organization. How many people are in the organization here locally?
Oh, gosh. So our staff, I think we've upped to about 30.
Oh, my goodness.
And then in our building, because we're co-located with other disciplines to kind of make our model work, which I can talk about if you guys want to hear that.
Yes, I'd like to hear that. Sure.
I think we've got about 60 or 65 people total in the building.
Okay. So tell us what the organization's mission is and how you tie it all together with these partners.
So our mission is really to educate and make people aware of child abuse, let them know that it's occurring here in our community, and that there are resources out there to help individuals who experience that. Obviously, children are growing up all around us all the time. So our agency really focuses on both preventive and reactive resources, right? So you mentioned, Lauren.
Yes,
she's our director
very much,
of outreach. So she does a great job with her team going into the local schools and doing prevention education. And then obviously with the Child Advocacy Center, those are reactive services to allegations.
I see. But, it's got to be tough because now I grew up in an Italian household. Most people might say that, abuse was, you would think that it was abuse. There was a lot of yelling and all that, but it was out of love. So where do things cross the line? How do you tell, and how does a kid come forward and say, hey, look, I don't think this is right. I'm getting this from my parents or an uncle or something.
And not just have it because mom or dad said no.
Just because it's discipline. Yeah.
Well, there's a difference between discipline and abuse, obviously. But so for us, that's really one of the reasons that we do the prevention piece is so we're educating children on what's okay and what's not, and that it's okay if they're not feeling safe to tell somebody. Because unfortunately, we know that a lot of child victims of sexual and severe physical abuse, there's a sense of shame or they've been told things to keep them quiet. And so we want to make sure that they know that it's okay for them to tell a safe adult and let somebody know that something's not quite right at home or elsewhere. So we kind of teach that a little bit to them. And then we educate the community on what to look for as well. If you have a child that's showing up to school with unexplained bruises or injury, they don't really have a story as to why that injury occurred, I always tell people it's best to call it in to the state central register. They are the experts on what they can and can't take as far as a report. So if you have suspicions, rather not allegations, suspicions of something occurring, it's always better to call it in and talk that through with a professional and see if they'll take that report. And that would open up an investigation into those allegations.
Where someone might say, I don't want to start trouble. It's probably okay. I'm not sure. They don't want to feel like they're a bad person in doing that. But what you're saying is better safe than sorry, for the lack of a platitude.
Well,
that's kind of what you're saying.
Right. And quite honestly, I don't think a lot of people realize that Child Protective is not out there to remove children, right, from their home. The ultimate goal of Child Protective is to ensure safety of a child and that they're being taken care of appropriately. And they want family reunification. It's not to take children away. And to boot, you can make a report to Child Protective anonymously. So you don't have to tell them where you're calling from. Another thing that's important to remember with that is that there are certain individuals that are mandated reporters, like school officials, social workers, doctors, things of that nature.
My father's aunt was in Child Protective Services, and it was heart-wrenching when she would talk about some of the things that went on the West Side and, just abandoned parents. People, she told a story one time where they tied the children to chairs to eat breakfast and then left and went and did whatever they were doing, and somebody finally called because people were crying.
My wife and I were foster parents, so we understand some of the things and understand some of the things that it's heart-wrenching. How can the community get involved?
So obviously I have a whole list in front of me. The listeners can't see it, but I've got my list to make sure I hit all my points. April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. We rely a lot on volunteers for a lot of our events that go on in April, as well as for a number of different things at the center. We can't do it all ourselves. So we have our advocates and our therapists and our outreach team and all the wonderful people there. But there's a lot of behind the scenes things. Outreach needs packets to be put together for the students in schools. I mean, they see over 22,000 children each year. Right. They're in almost 70 schools in the district, so they're busy. And then we always need help with the front desk coverage. We're a crisis-oriented agency, so we don't always have coverage for the front desk. If our receptionist needs to call out or use time, so that can be difficult. And then aside from that, we also have what's called Holiday Angels that we do every year, and we rely a lot on volunteers for that. We have the whole building put in families' information that need extra help during the holidays, and we get sponsors, donors that kind of give to those families, and then we need all those gifts wrapped and taken care of.
And McMahonRyan.org is the place where it's all at. Is that correct?
McMahonRyan.org has all of our information on events.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Erin Bates, for all you guys do. And we'd love to have you back on again, so
Anytime.
we
This
can
was
talk
great.
more. Great. Well, have a good April, and I hope that everything goes well there and we get some volunteers for you. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with John Kupperman. He's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. Steve, stick around, and all of you out there, stick around right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.